Hello, it's been a second, but we are back, and I want to talk about lionfish because they're sort of completely insane ocean murder hedgehogs, but slow moving. Also constantly having babies, so they're like big, slow, pregnant killers with venom. And they have layers. Ogres are like onions. Okay, first of all, lionfish are a really big problem because they're all over and they eat everything, and we'll get into it, but how did we get to this point? I'll tell you. So in the 80s, everybody in Florida, not to be like targeting Florida, but listen, I'm not the first one. Anyway, a bunch of fish enthusiast Floridians were like, hey, lionfish are gorgeous, or I don't know, it was the 80s, so they were like gnarly or something. I wasn't born. So the entire state wanted lionfish in their aquariums, and they would put the little death hedgehog in, and it would get bigger and bigger, and then like Mrs. Pac-Man style, eat every other fish, and the baby fish and the filter probably, I don't know, they're insane. So people were like, oh no, not radical or whatever, and they released them into the ocean, poor ocean. So that was bad, and then there was a hurricane because Florida, which probably also possibly tossed a bunch of pet store lionfish into the ocean. So suddenly all these lionfish are in the Atlantic coast, and it's the 80s, and they're little 80s murder disco fish, and they mix and mingle and call each other on big gigantic 80s cell phones, and then they breed, and like incredibly fast, there are an insane number of lionfish all over the coast and the Caribbean. Again, I'm not blaming Florida, but I'm not blaming Florida. So let's talk about what these little aquatic poison minesweepers are. They're very striped and sort of orange, red, white with a little death mohawk of 13 spines and 3 booty spines, all of which have this crazy venom, which is apparently insanely painful and horrible. Seemingly not deadly to humans, but I mean, there's always a first. I don't trust it. Also, the pain has been compared to childbirth, so they're very slow moving, basically just chill in one place all day long, which I guess you can do when you eat everything and have a toxic backside. Mature females are also capable of laying 10,000 to 30,000 eggs every 4 days in warmer waters, and some experts say the egg sac has a chemical deterrent, which keeps other fish from eating it. Which, I mean, at what point do lionfish just have like too many fish superpowers? Now the other fish are like, hey, how come I just have a head shaped like hardware and big teeth, but you have a zillion poisonous children and no swimming and a death spine? Oh, and I forgot to mention, the lionfish stomach can literally stretch up to 30 times its size, and if needed, they can fast and not eat for 12 weeks. So, I mean, it's cool. So literally the only effective way to take out a floating murder cactus is to scuba dive down and shoot it with a harpoon gun, which may seem cruel. Who would do that? But also their massive rise in the Atlantic and Caribbean has coincided with a 65% decline in native fish. They're seriously so bad, and they eat everything, and a single lionfish can erase up to 80% of the native fish on a reef and has an unspeakably enormous ecological impact. So we harpoon them, and you can eat them, which is actually very helpful. Increasing the demand for lionfish meat is low-key one of the things we can do to fight their quite literal invasion. So that's lionfish. They're little death pineapples and bad news all around. Eat them when they're on the menu, spear them if you see them, and hey, let's stop putting native things in the wrong places. You feel me?